Okay, this video we're going to do a quick fractions intro, and then we'll look at identifying the numerator, denominator, and denominator of a fraction, and then figuring out whether a fraction is proper or improper. Okay, so we'll start with a fractions intro. So let's imagine you had a pizza. So a pizza is just a circle, and it's a hole. Okay. Okay, so this is a whole pizza here. And if you split it into 4 pieces, okay, and let's say we take this piece here, okay, now the whole pizza has been split into 4 equal parts, okay. So this one part out of the whole thing is called 1/4 or 1/4 because it's 1 part out of 4. Okay, so in fraction you think of it as a part out of the whole, okay? Part out of whole. So 1 part out of 4 all together to make the whole, okay? So let's imagine if I took this green piece and then this other green piece, okay? So these two together, how could you describe this piece and this piece, right? Write it down, How could you describe these 2 pieces? Well, this is 1/4 as well, isn't it? And this is 1/4. So you could say that this and this is 2/4 or 2/4, right? 2/4. And you could also say, isn't that exactly half of the pizza? So you could say that 2/4 is the same thing as 1/2 for fun there, right? Okay. Okay, so now just draw this pizza and split it up in this way. So you're just going to start with make a dot in the center and put a line across and a line straight down. And then after that put a line in this direction and a line in this direction. So you're splitting it up into, isn't that 8 equal parts, right? So if I was to take one of these slices of pizza, how much of, what fraction of the pizza would this be? Write that down. What fraction would that be? Would it be 1 part out of 8 total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So that would be 1/8, right? And just for fun, what if you took this piece and this piece? Okay, how could you describe this piece and this piece combined if you take these 2 pieces out? Well, there's kind of 2 ways of describing that. One way is you could say that is 2/8, isn't it? This is 1/8, that's 1/8, so we have 2/8 of the pizza, right? And that's also equal to what? I mean, if you just imagine it as one whole piece here like that, how else could you write 2/8? 2/8 is definitely, well, it's 1/4, isn't it? Just like we were looking at back here, 1/4. Okay. So what if you make big pieces like this into 3 equal parts? What fraction of the pizza would this piece be here? So there's 3 pizza split up into 3 parts, all the same size. So what fraction is this part? What fraction of a whole? Well, it's 1 part out of 3 altogether to make the whole, right? So 1/3, right? And now what if you took this piece and this piece? What would that be? Let's say you took these two pieces combined. How would you describe these 2 pieces together, right? Well, isn't that 1/3? And that's 1/3. So how many thirds is that altogether? Well, you could say it's 2/3 or 2 parts out of 3 to make the whole, right? Does that make sense? Now, just for fun, we'll look at money. Hopefully, you know what these things are called. They're quarters, right? Ooh, there you go. They're called quarters, right? Now, they're also 25 cents, and you know that 25 cents plus 25 cents plus 25 cents plus 25 cents makes what? What's got to make 100 cents, right? Or $1, right? And there are 4 of these that need, and they're all of equal value. The 4 parts added together make a whole dollar, right? So that's why we say if we call this, 100 cents is, one whole dollar. These are all actually quarters of a dollar, basically, is what they are. I mean, that's one way of thinking about it. They're quarters, and so that's why we call them quarters, because they're quarters of a dollar, right? And 4 of them add up to make a whole. So what if I had just 3 of these? What would 3 of these be? 1, 2, 3. How would you describe having 3 of these? 1, 2. That would be 3 quarters, wouldn't it? 3 quarters, right? How about if you just had 2 of these coins? What would that be? Well, this is 1 quarter. This is 1 quarter. So how many quarters do I have? 2 quarters, right? Now, 2 quarters can also be written as, because look, it's definitely 25 cent and 25 cent. That's definitely 50 cent, isn't it? And 2 quarters is 1/2 of a dollar, isn't it? 50 cents is half of a dollar, right? So just for fun. And now let's have a look at some other coins. I mean, if you take the dime, for example, how much is the dime worth? Dime is worth 10 cent, right? And how many of these do you need to get a dollar? 10 cent. How many 10 cents do I need to add up to get a dollar? To get 100 cents? Well, it's got to be 10, right? So 10 of these makes a dollar, and that's why this is in fact 1/10 of a dollar, right? So just like we call this coin the quarter, we could easily call this coin the tenth. Why don't we? Who knows? Anyway, but we could call that the tenth because it's 1/10 of a dollar, right? How about the cent or the penny? How many cents does it take to make a dollar? Many cents to make a dollar? 100, right? So how could you write a cent in fraction form? Write a cent in fraction form. It's what fraction of a dollar? Or how many of these do you need to add up to get 100 cents? You need 100 of them, right? 100 of these. So this is 1 part out of 100. 1 part out of 100 to make a dollar. So it's 100. So we could call the cent, we could call it the 100th. Why don't we do that? We should. We should call this is the quarter, that's the 10th, and that's the 100th. Now just for fun, what's the nickel? What fraction of a dollar is a nickel? Press pause and see if you can figure it out. The nickel is worth 5 cents. How many 5 cents do we need to add up to get to 100 cents? Well, 2 of them add up to give 10 cents, don't they? So would that be maybe 20? Because you might know 20 times 5 is 100, right? Anyway, so 20 of these will make a dollar, so this is 1/20th of a dollar, okay? So basically we could call that the 20th instead of the nickel. How about that? Okay, alright, here's a quick fraction intro. Now let's have a look at this vocabulary. The numerator is the top of a fraction, the denominator is the bottom of the fraction. So the numerator is the part, the denominator is the whole. So basically a fraction is part over whole. And just to confuse things further, they like you to learn off that this is numerator over denominator. Now, to remember this, you might think, for example, that n is north, right? North is up above, is on top, right? Okay, so this is the one that goes on top. Denominator, you could think down. So that's the one that's down on the bottom, right? Just for fun. Anyway. Okay, so if I have a fraction 1/5, the numerator is the number on the top, that's 1. The denominator is the number on the bottom, 5. And let's just go on to 3/8. If you have 3/8, what's the numerator, what's the denominator? Write it down. The numerator is number 3, the number on top. Denominator is the number 8, the one on bottom, right? How about 5/3? What's the numerator and the denominator, right? Numerator is 5, denominator is 3. How about 3/2? 3/2. What's the numerator and the denominator there? Numerator is 3, denominator is 2, right? Okay, so let's look at proper fractions and improper fractions. A proper fraction is like your kind of regular fraction where you've got it's like 1/5, where the bottom is bigger, the numerator is smaller than the denominator. The top is smaller than the bottom. Okay, because we don't usually say and so basically this is a proper fraction, not an improper fraction. The fraction is either proper or improper. Okay. 3/8, the top is smaller than the bottom. Okay, so it's kind of like, it's something that you would say in everyday language. We don't usually say things like 5/3. I mean, that, in fact, what you would more often say is, with a mixed number, that becomes 1 2/3. Okay, so you wouldn't say I want 5/3 of a pizza. I want 1 pizza and 2/3 as well added onto it, so to speak. So this guy here, he's an improper fraction, right? Because the top is bigger than the bottom. So how about these guys, 3/8 and 3/2? Which is proper, which is improper? Can you figure that out? Is 3/8 a proper fraction or an improper fraction? Proper fraction is when the top is smaller than the bottom. So this is a proper, right? How about 3/2? Proper or improper? So the numerator is greater than the denominator, therefore this is improper, right? Okay, so if you're dealing with something like the number 6, that's a whole number, right? That's not even a fraction. So how can we give a numerator and denominator and say whether it's proper or improper? Sure, it's not even a fraction, but we can write it as a fraction, and I'll show you. 6 can be written 6 divided by 1. Oh, let me show you that. 6 can be written 6 divided by 1. Did you know that? Yep, indeed. Does that make sense? 1 into 6 goes 6 times, I guess you could think of it that way. 1 into 6 goes 6 times. 6 divided by 1 is 6. So in any case, 6 can be written 6/1, and now you can give numerator and denominator and go ahead with that. Okay? So the numerator would be 6, denominator 1. Is it proper? No. Is it improper? Yes, it's an improper fraction, right? So see if you can figure out 4. Write it as a fraction first of all. 4 can be written how? 4 divided by 1 gives 4, doesn't it? Okay, the numerator is 4, the denominator is 1. Is it proper or improper? It is improper, right? How about x over y? What can you do with that? What's the numerator, first of all? What's the denominator? Numerator is x, denominator is y. And we don't know whether x or y is bigger because they're just letters, they're not numbers, so we can't do the proper or improper part at all on that. So press pause on the video and do this one and this one, 2/5 and then 2. So please press pause, do it yourself, and then I'll do it. Okay. Okay, so 2/5. The numerator is 2. The denominator is 5. Is it proper or improper? It is a proper fraction because the top is smaller than the bottom. Okay, proper fraction. 2. Just the number 2. Get the numerator, denominator. First you have to write it as a fraction, right? 2 can be written 2 over 1, right? The numerator is 2, denominator is 1. And is it proper? No, it is in fact improper because the numerator is greater than the denominator. Okay? So that 2 is an improper fraction.